It's pretty dark, isn't it? It's England for you. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've been having a wonderful day. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing more than one topic because there are a few things that are trending absolutely everywhere that I want to bring to your attention. Our very first story is all about this TikTok going viral on Twitter because this user, they always look the same, is claiming that cis kids don't exist. Cisness is a delusion, it's a lie, and transness is the truth. Can't even keep a straight face for this one. Our next story is all about Elon Musk, somebody we haven't spoken about in quite some time on this channel, but last night on a Twitter space, he absolutely destroyed a BBC journalist. Trust me, you're gonna want to stay tuned for that one. And our last story for today is all about this trans ballerina who managed to secure a place at a very prestigious dance academy for everything but their actual skill. It was to make sure they could tick that diversity checkbox. Let's get into it. So this TikTok, ladies and gentlemen, that is causing quite the stir all over Twitter is really a clear case, clear evidence of how far things have gone in terms of being stunning, brave, progressive, delusional, right? And then equally in the same sentence, how far backwards society has gone. Now, I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to allow you to listen to this, but it's actually quite concerning the more you think about it that somebody is coming out with this rhetoric. Take a listen.
Y'all really want to try to say there aren't trans kids? Let me tell you what there aren't. There aren't cis kids, okay? You telling your child, oh, you're a boy, you're a girl. This is a child. This is a free spirit that has not learned any of that, and so you force it on them. So cisness is the wound. Cisness is the delusion. Cisness is the lie. Cisness is the place of pain. Transness is the healing. Transness is the growth. Transness is the truth. Transness is what we actually are. We are fluid. We are 70% water. We are God. God is change. God is trans. We are trans. You are forcing your kids to be boys and girls. We're saying, be whatever you are, baby. Be free, be water, be light, be sky, be God, because guess what? That's what we actually are. What we actually are is trans, is change, is love. We're not the ones doing the forcing. And see God chiming just on time.
There is so much this person said within that 1 minute clip that if we spoke about everything, we'd be sat here next week, and I don't really fancy doing that if I'm honest. Apparently there aren't cis kids. Cis is delusional, cis is a lie. Saying the word cis is the most infuriating thing because these people, these kids are just kids, you know, and apparently boys and girls are being forced to be boys and girls by the world, by their parents. They should be allowed to be free-spirited, allow them to do what they want. So clearly this is an advocate for confusing kids from a very young age. Oh yeah, I forgot. He also brings God into it. Apparently God is trans. So with everything I've just said, everything we've just watched, it's clear to see we're dealing with a high-level nutcase. But let's just talk about the thing they mentioned at the very end of that video. They're not the ones doing the forcing. Well, from what we can all see and experience, there is only one side doing the forcing because we are all being told to essentially ignore our own eyes, our own thoughts, common sense, so we can reaffirm this false reality everybody wants us to live in, right? And then if you don't agree with it, you then face the consequences, you know, cancellations, bannings. You might even lose your job, lose your income. That seems pretty forceful to me. There is also this need to tell kids about this ideology from a very early age, and it doesn't matter what it's in. You know, it's everywhere. Schools, mainstream media, social media, films. They are actively trying to get kids to see the world in a certain view. It's almost like these people are so scared that if they don't get the kids early, everything they're trying to convince everybody to believe in now, left is right, right is left, 2 + 2 = 5, anybody can be anything at any given time, the individual truth is the truth. If they don't get the kids early and indoctrinate them with a certain worldview, it's almost like it all disappears. So they have to target the kids, right? And the worst thing is they are supported by the mainstream media, by social media, by establishments, by corporations, by entities, by governments. It doesn't matter who it is, they support them. It is a constant battle now, and this is just my opinion, but it seems like it's a constant battle for parents to make sure their kids aren't being indoctrinated with a certain worldview, because every single walk of life is trying to get them to think in a certain way. But it's not forced though, it's not forced. Not at all. If this person's anything to go by, it's clear to see the future kids are in safe hands. Moving on. So Elon Musk and the BBC are trending today after Elon Musk held a Twitter space with a BBC journalist, and I believe this comes after Elon Musk labeled the BBC on Twitter as government funded, and they were really upset. They weren't too happy about this because the truth hurts. So obviously this Twitter space was held. It is very long. I have this 4-minute clip I'm going to show you, which I will also edit down. And I just want you to listen to the BBC journalist's response when Elon Musk essentially pressures him to stop lying. It is priceless. Take a listen.
What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content.
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
don't. You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you
and
said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second.
My
you said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed.
You just lied.
What I claimed was. There are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. It has on my feed
Give me one example.
Not. I mean, right. And
literally can't name one. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right. And as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right. And as I said,
that's absurd.
You changed the misinformation.
Has BBC changed its misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, it then disappeared. Why do that?
Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, so. You thought it wasn't?
You know, this is what we need more of. We need people in open space debating these journalists who essentially think they can get away with any lie. This person obviously tried to paint a narrative around Elon Musk and Twitter. Elon Musk asked for the examples. He couldn't give any, and this is the response this journalist probably wasn't hoping for, because he thought after this Twitter space he would probably be able to write a hit piece the next morning, but Elon Musk put a stop to that one. They then also mentioned the misinformation surrounding CV19 on Twitter, which Elon Musk responds with, well, have the BBC changed their policies around the misinformation they put out with CV19? No, they haven't, which is why that journalist goes radio silent and he stutters again. It's just crazy to me. You know, these people, these journalists think the information they have is the gospel and it can't be questioned a lot like many other things. You know, the information they put out has to be the truth. And then when they get called out on it, they just can't answer back. It's very strange how that happens. Now, they may not even believe the information they have, right? They may just be trying to put society in a certain direction. That's another story for another day. But you would think other journalists, the BBC, would see how Twitter functions now, you know, where you can talk openly about these issues without the high risk of being silenced. You would think they would want to follow suit, right? Get people on their side. No, they just continue to print lie after lie, which then leads everybody to question, well, there's obviously a hidden agenda as to why you don't tell these stories, right? Maybe somebody's funding you. But for our last and final story of today, we have this trans ballerina who managed to secure a place at a very prestigious dance academy, and people aren't happy for obvious reasons. Sophie Rebecca, former rally driver and IT technician, was the first trans woman to pass exams at the Royal Ballet Academy, which changed its rules in 2013 to allow trans women in. And this is a quote from the dancer himself: "I knew from a young age that I was trapped in the wrong body." So based off of that argument that then allows him to go into women's competitions, it really does make sense with today's world, it really does. And videos have surfaced of this dancer, and it's clear to see, as I said at the beginning, they didn't get in because of their skill, right? It's because this place wanted to be inclusive, diverse, progressive, and somebody has attached a side-by-side comparison of an actual ballet dancer who has skill to highlight how absurd this is. Take a watch. It's just the same story we see all the time. Right? I can guarantee you, if you or I watching right now, if we took lessons for, I don't know, for over 2 weeks, we would be better than that, but we probably wouldn't get accepted, right? And as people have highlighted, this person wouldn't even get accepted into a male dance academy. This man has been allowed to come in and take opportunities away from other women who have dedicated their lives to this profession, right? They've worked every single day. And as far as I know, ballet is actually one of the toughest, most grueling professions. I think about all the women who have trained their whole lives. That's just a slap in the face. It's just like every single industry now has to normalize this delusion. They have to tick the checkbox because they're also scared people will look at them and think, well, they're not very diverse, they're not very progressive. Just have a spine instead. People would respect you more for that than these sort of acts, right? These acts go against reality. You are literally negatively affecting the women involved within your profession. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. But then again, it is a sign of the times, so should we actually be surprised? Who knows? But that is the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. If you have enjoyed this sort of format, then please make sure to let me know and I will do it more often in the future. If you are new around here, then hit that big red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave your opinions down below on all the stories that I covered. I'd be very interested to see how you guys feel. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Make sure to always have a great day and stay safe. I'm out. Peace.